Greetings, YouTube viewers and listeners. This is a very important message of the future, what it may hold for us human race. Let me introduce myself briefly. My real name is Daniel, that's my birth name, and by divine revelation, after years of meditation and purification of the heart, it was revealed to me that I was the reincarnation of Daniel of the Bible. I know that sounds hard to believe, and that's why I suggest you check out my website and read it for yourself. It's all free, 800-page spiritual autobiography. It's called finalbookofdaniel.com. Now, I've been a prophet since 1998, April as a matter of fact, on the internet. I've had a massive website built since then, and one of the warnings I've been giving since that first day I opened up my website was one of World War III. Now, at the time, I was derided as being called a doomsayer. They said, "What are you talking about? There's no World War III. Shut up," kind of thing. Well, my warnings came into fulfillment on 9/11/2001 with the terrorist attacks in New York City and Washington, D.C. and Pennsylvania. That was the trigger that set us into war in Afghanistan and Iraq. I also predicted a year and a half in advance that we would invade Iraq, and that Bush would take over what his father created. And that obviously came into fulfillment. So I suggest you pay heed to my warnings. Now, that was the beginning of what may be termed World War III. It's a long war. It's the war on terrorism. It's not a war that will not end soon. Now, you may think that it's a safer world now that the Soviet Union's gone, but no. China and India right now are saber-rattling. They're both nuclear armed over competition for oil and natural resources. They're growing like wildfire in a world of limited resources. And we're stationed in the Middle East. Despite the pullback of 100,000 troops from Iraq, we're still stationed there. We're stationed there for peak oil, the inevitable peak and then decline in production of global oil. Read that article at my site. It's called Peak Oil Scenario. Now, here's the vision that I had in 2007. This is a very profound and terrifying vision. It's a possible future event. It's not written in stone, and no, it has nothing to do with the Book of Revelation. The Book of Revelation was already fulfilled by 70 A.D., symbolically speaking. That's when the last judgment of the last age, that's when Christ returned. The kingdom of God is within you. He said, "My kingdom is not of this earth." It's a spiritual kingdom that was set up at that time. And by the way, the Antichrist, the beast 666, that was Nero, Emperor Nero of Rome. He committed suicide in 68 AD. So don't bother looking for any great 7-year Great Tribulation, or an Antichrist, or a rebuild Jewish temple, or a rapture for Christians. That's all gone. That's ancient history. This is a new prophetic vision. In the vision, in 2007, it was ultra realistic, full color, easily remembered to this day. I was situated on a military base outside with barracks nearby and a large number of military trucks and tanks in the background in a fenced up area. The vision started with a massive nuclear blast in the distance, a huge mushroom cloud about 20 miles away. It must have been about 40 megatons, judging by the size of it. It filled up a large segment of the sky. I observed everyone running around me on the base, running for cover as the immense shockwave was approaching quickly. People were running to hide behind the barracks for safety in large crowds, and it was a total run-for-your-lives type of panic. I started to run with some of the others in the opposite direction of the blast, as I noticed a small cliff or ledge where I hoped I could hide and escape from the blast. Before jumping onto the lower ledge, I saw multiple small laser-targeted missiles come from the other opposite direction, swooping down from the sky, impacting and destroying the tanks and military trucks parked on the base one by one. By now the shockwave from the powerful yet distant nuclear blast was upon us. I jumped over the cliff onto the small ledge to escape. The shock wave then hit with tremendous force and pressure, with dirt and debris billowing over, burying me alive. I was completely buried under dirt and could not breathe. I was suffocating to death. It must be stressed that this was no regular quote-unquote dream. I actually felt the pain of suffocating as though it were real life. There was no difference at all. I spent 4 minutes under there in darkness until I died. I immediately woke up from this profound nightmare, shaking in awe and fear. I remained uncontrollably trembling for the next 30 minutes after waking. It was absolutely terrifying. So, I hope to live the day, to see the day when we no longer engage over wars over land, religion, money, oil, or other natural resources. But for the short-term future, it looks like more of the same. This is not a written-in-stone prophecy. We need more light workers and people to pray, meditate more, invoke the holy angels, and selflessly meditate deliberately for more world peace. We do collectively have this power, my friends. But I cannot do it all alone. I'm not God. I'm just a messenger. Do you know there's Buddhist monks in monasteries in the Far East who meditate every day, all day, sending out energies of peace to the rest of the world? Why don't you and I join them?